Hello, dear students. Today I will teach you about the purification of colloids, charges on colloids, and the region of stability of the colloids, and also the theory of electrical double layer on colloids. So, all these things I have to teach you today. Yes, listen it now seriously, and it is my suggestion that once again, many times I told you, but today again I am telling you that you must prepare notebook for it. Otherwise, you will fall in problem. So see here, purification of colloidal solutions. The colloidal solutions, the colloidal solutions prepared by the above methods usually contain impurities, especially electrolytes, which can destabilize the salts. These impurities, these impurities must be eliminated to make the colloidal solutions stable. The following methods are commonly used for the purification of colloidal solution. First, dialysis, the process of separating the particles of the colloids from those of crystalloids or dissolved substances by means of diffusion through a suitable membrane is called dialysis. Principle of dialysis is based upon the fact that colloidal particles cannot pass through parchment or cellophane membrane while the ions of electrolyte can pass through it. This is the principle. Now, dialysis can be used for removing HCl from ferric hydroxide salt. Now, on next page, electrodialysis. So, this is advanced and improved method of the dialysis. This is modified form of dialysis. Electrodialysis is a process of purification of colloidal solution in which dialysis is made faster by applying an electric field. In this process, colloidal solution is placed in a bag of suitable membrane while pure water is taken outside. When the electrodes are fitted in the compartment, ions present in the colloidal solution migrate out the oppositely charged electrodes. Now the third method is ultrafiltration. In ultrafiltration, the colloidal particles are separated from solvent and soluble solutes by a specially prepared filter. The specially prepared papers are prepared by soaking the filter paper in gelatin solution and then soaking the same in formaldehyde in order to make pores hard. The filter paper thus formed is called ultrafilter. Now on the third page, colligative properties. The value of colligative properties are of a small order than the uh, values shown by true solution, because the number of colloidal particles in a solution is small as compared to true solution. Now, second, Tyndall effect. So these are the properties of the colloids. Tyndall effect. Colloidal solutions, yes, Colloidal solutions show Tyndall effects. It means when a beam of light is passed through colloidal solution, a scattering of light takes place. Now, color of colloid. The color of colloid solution depends on the wavelength of light scattered by the dispersed particles. The wavelength of light further depends upon the nature and sizes of the particles. Brownian movement. The colloidal particles are found to be in continuous zigzag motion in all parts of solution called Brownian movement of due to unbalanced bombardment of the particles by the molecules of the dispersion medium. Charge on colloidal particles. Colloidal particles always carry an electric charge which is the same on all the particles in given colloid solution. This charge may be positive or and negative. Region of charge on region of charge on colloidal particles. Charge on colloidal particles is either due to electron capture by Sol particles during electrodispersion of metals or due to preferential adsorption of ions from solution. Preferential adsorption of ions is the most accepted region in which the Sol particles acquire positive or negative ions. This can be explained by taking following examples. When silver nitrate is added, when silver nitrate is added to Ki solution, the Sol means precipitate AgI adsorbs iodine ions and negatively charged colloid forms. However, when Ki is added to a silver nitrate solution, negatively charged Sol forms due to adsorption of Ag plus ions. So, this is the example of two types of sols, that one is positive and one is negatively charged sols. If FeCl3, another example, if FeCl3 is added to excess of hot water, a positively charged sol of hydrated Fe2O3 is formed due to adsorption of Fe3 plus ions. However, when FeCl3 is added to NaOH, a negatively charged sol is obtained with adsorption of OH minus ions. So, these are the examples of two types of sol here. See here. Now, stability of colloid sols. So, what is the reason that colloidal particles show or remain suspended in the form of colloids? So, see here, the particles constituting the dispersed phase adsorb only those ions preferentially which are common with their own lattice. It has been observed that colloidal solution contain traces of electrolytes, means what electrolyte is used that remain present in the colloidal solution. So, these electrolytes which are very important for the stabilities of the sols, and if these are completely removed, the sols become unstable, means the particles will settle down, means the colloidal solution will not maintain the property of the colloids. Following are the examples which show the case of selective adsorption of ions. So, see here. So, this is AgI, this is the colloidal solution, colloidal particles is AgI in this case, and I minus is outside of the colloidal particles at the surface of the colloidal particles, and it is known as negatively charged colloid particles, and after that the over it potassium ion, which is the ion of the electrolyte, is outside of this colloid, negatively charged colloid. So K plus ions remain in the dispersion medium, thereby giving equal and opposite charge to the dispersion medium. And same is the case here. So here AgI is the colloidal particles, and positive, it is positively charged colloid, and the NO3 minus nitrate ion remain in the dispersion medium, thereby giving equal and opposite charge to the dispersion medium. Means this outer charge, means nitrate and K plus, balance the colloidal solution. Theory of electrical double layer. So this is known as double layer. One is positive here in this case, and nitrate is negative. In this case, iodide ion is negative and K plus is positive. So this is known as double layer. We have seen the surface of the colloidal particles acquires a positive or negative charge by selective adsorption of ions carrying positive or negative charge respectively. It is surrounded by another layer carrying opposite charges as compared to charge on dispersed phase particles. Thus, an electrical double layer is formed, which is clear from the following figure. Once again, you can see the example of the electrical double layer. So nitrate is another charge layer, and Ag plus is the charge of the colloid, and nitrate and that colloid means silver iodide, positive charge colloid, is surrounded by nitrate, which is mobile layer. So this is known as fixed layer, and this is known as mobile layer. So it is clear from the diagram. The combination of two layers of opposite charges around the colloidal particles is called Helmholtz electric double layer. So this is known as Helmholtz electric double layer. When it is asked in definition, you will write the definition which is written here in the as underlined manner or the fashion. Zeta potential, the potential difference that exists between the stationary layer of compensating charges and the diffuse layer, that is known as also mobile layer. Diffuse layer means mobile layer, is called electrokinetic or zeta potential. This is the definition of the zeta potential. The electrical properties of colloid solution are related with two phenomena, electrophoresis and electroosmosis. In electrophoresis, movement of colloidal particles takes place towards the oppositely charged electrodes, and in electroosmosis, movement of molecules of dispersion medium takes place towards the oppositely charged electrodes. So that will clear from the definition. When you read the definition, you will understand it. This is written in this page, and at the last, Tyndall effect, the phenomenon of scattering of light by colloidal particles as a result of which the path of the beam becomes visible, is called Tyndall effect. Colloidal solution show Tyndall effect, but true solution does not show Tyndall effects. So this is about today's lesson.